Hello and welcome to another episode of The Laws of Minecraft with me, LawFromChaos. And today we are looking at DartCraft. We're going to do something different than most mod spotlights. This first one actually is going to be completely dedicated to just the commands from the admin side. If you're a player, this is probably not for you. Skip to my next one. I'm going to be going over everything in detail from the very beginning onwards to all the different manipulations you can do, the very specific details. Because DartCraft is an enormous pack, but it also has a large amount of commands, so I wanted to show the admins what they actually could do. And this will actually let you fix some things that are a lot more difficult to fix without having to do it manually. Okay, so first of all, for this demonstration, I'm going to get into survival mode. Okay, perfect. Now, first of all, I'm going to do this command. It's called free XP for you and me. Very simple command, but you need to put a number after it, and that's the amount of experience it will give you inside of an experience book. And this is a good one to use, for example, if your player has died through something, so that's the fault of the server. They fell through the world or something else and they had an experience book on them. Because experience books come, they may have 10,000, they may have 3,000, they may have 100,000 experience in the book. And it's a major pain to take that experience and manually place it in if you're just going to replace it for somebody if something's gone wrong. So you can do this, you can just say, okay, they lost somewhere around 5,000 experience, let's say. So there you go, you got an experience book. And it tells you it's got 5,000 experience. So you got your experience tome, and it will let you do whatever you need to with it. And so you can give it out to your player. And so, for example, I could draw experience out of it, for example. Okay, so that's a good one. This one's a very interesting one. It's very much a one you should be very careful with. It's and you thought candor was cramped. Oop. And it's very easy to mess up some of these. Now, I like DartCraft a lot, and I think his commands are funny. But the problem with most of his commands is simply this. They tend to be long and complicated, and people don't know what they actually do. So this one gives you a rod of building, aka development rod of crashiness, because I'm sure it's crashed his game more than once. And what it does is it acts as a way of moving sections of space. So, for example, I set a corner over there, and I set a corner over there with just a normal right click. Now, if I shift right click, it will store it. And I think it's supposed to give me, yep, there it is. Okay, it's supposed to give me a bottle. And now this bottle has just a brick in it, just to demonstrate that it has something in it. So if I take this brick and I take this and go like this, it transplants the area that was taken away. Now I have not messed with this one very much. As you can see, this could be very dangerous. So be careful with it. Let's just leave it at that. This one is rather silly. There's a number of prank commands in here, or just generally like obnoxious commands in here that are designed to annoy players. Mostly I think he uses them on his companion, Bigfoot, but you could also use them to punish obnoxious players. So this one is, of all the tricks under my hat, I bet you'd, and there's a D on that you'd, never expect scat. And I'm going to have to do this to myself because I'm the only person here. So it kills them by essentially dropping an enormous amount of poo on them. as you can see, is a rather silly thing to have happen. Yes. Weather clear. That's a great one to know. I don't think it's a DartCraft one, but good one to know. I'm going to do this again. I want to see if it leaves behind any residue, because I'm going to die and respawn in this one spot. Okay. So no. So you don't get like poo or feces, because there's a feces block, not block, but item drop that you can have. So it doesn't leave anything behind, so it's just an obnoxious way to kill someone. Show signs of displeasure. Let's put it that way. Alright, so the next one is an actual functional one. It's a DartCraft is hard. And this one will just give you a tier 7 mastered upgrade tome, and it will give you, if you give it to yourself with this one, it's yours. It's a tier 7, and DartCraft tomes are not changeable, so it's just for you. You can't give it to somebody else and have them use it, for example. Now, next command is another functional one. It's loot the bag and get some swag. And you want to put 1 through 3 after this, a number of 1 or 3, and that's the tiers of the bag. Higher the tier, the better on average the items will be. So, for example, I say 3. This is the highest tier, and we got some death blooms, a drone, some ender pearls, a miniature red heart, and a logic matrix. All things that are reasonably difficult to find. And I can do it again, and you can just kind of get a good idea of what the kind of stuff you'll get. And it's obviously an average representation, so you won't always get exactly the best items. Like Builder's one, that's a great item. I'm going to do, by comparison, I'm going to do number 1. I don't know, I think this one actually might be better. Somebody told me 3 was higher, so maybe this is higher. Sometimes I think it doesn't really matter. Yeah. Two division signals. That is not bad. And maybe 1 is the better one. I don't know. But anyway, regardless. Oh, this one said tier 2. Why does that say tier 2? This said tier 3, 1. Okay, maybe that one does not do what it's supposed to as far as giving you the right tier. Yeah, because this is tier 1, so it's lower. Okay. We got 1 tier 3 in here, and I bet that's the one that had all the really good stuff in it. No? Nothing? I don't know. Occasionally I look at commands and go, this one does not quite work right, so we'll just take what we can. Okay, so we're going to leave that alone, and we'll just move on from there. So it'll give you a bag, and if you're trying to get a specific tier for somebody, you may have to do it a couple times to get the right one. Okay, this next one I'm going to look straight up so I don't accidentally kill myself. It's / don't dismay, just look away. And this one is, and you assign this to a player, so this is going to be, again, myself, LawFromChaos. And you assign a number. And what it does is it's going to summon that number of ender tots. So I'm going to do 10. Don't look directly at the cuteness. Okay. So I've got lots of ender tots around. And they've got some kind of weird green thing going on with their faces. Maybe that's a graphical glitch. So we're just going to leave that alone for the moment. Okay, so it can be very dangerous to some players. You could do it as punishment, you could do it as a gag, whatever you want. You've got another one here that is directly even more dangerous in many ways. It's, again, another... I think a lot of these are pranks. Alright, you just wanted honey, but now you'll get stungy. Yes, don't ask me about his rhymes. And it's a player, myself, of course, because there's no one else around here, and then the number. In this case, it summons that many angry bees, which are I left one L out. Angry bees. They have 100 hit points. Good grief. So yeah, that's obnoxious. And they're over there. So we're just going to back away. Back away. Alright, another one, this is actually a good functional, useful one, is set max health. And again, you're going to want a player, so myself. And this is going to determine it by the number of hearts, I believe. So if I tell them to say 20, yeah. So as you can see, my hearts went up, so now it's gradually healing me. So let me give myself a regen. Yeah, didn't change anything here. No, okay. Yeah, let's just do that real quick so that we can see what happens. I should stop, I think, when it's just full orange. If not, then I didn't know what I was doing. But I think that's what will happen. So we'll double check that first. Yep, okay. Perfect. So it stopped there. That's exactly what we wanted. Okay, this is another one, especially if you're going to be doing experimenting with it, or if you're going to be rewarding players, and this is a major reward, just so you know. You don't want to just give this to everybody. I need a trunk full of DartCraft junk. Now it's going to give you a tile box, an iron chest, and you go ahead and set it down, and it has a lot of stuff in it, including a 7-tome that has no name when it's in here, but as soon as somebody picks it up, it does have a name. So if all you wanted to do was to give them a tome, I wish that the DartCraft as hard command would actually just give you a chest with this blank one in it, so you could set it down and say, this is yours, go ahead and take it out of the chest, and it'll be yours. But it doesn't work that way, sadly. Though I think it might be possible to set it up so DartCraft as hard command executes as though it was coming from another player, so that's an option. But anyway, it gives you a whole bunch of stuff. I'm not going to get into everything that's in here, just suffice it to say it's enough to experiment with just about everything. And so we're not really going to touch this at this point. Other than the little liquid pack, I did want to, just like you can see, it's got full of water and buckets of force and an empty bucket and an item card determining how that's supposed to be properly used. So if you look at this, it has a series of commands inside the item card. So this is what we're doing. So this means it'll put out buckets of, it's picking up buckets of force and water, and then putting, yeah. So it's a series of commands on how to process everything, and it should go back in the liquid pack, but I'm going to leave it for now. Okay, so that was another useful command. I'll get into more about how the item cards and everything else works in my other videos, so that's why I'm not going to bother trying to explain all of it right now. Okay, the next one is a cheaty mode. It's the moon looks tragic. If I can spell. Better give me some magic. Again, if I can spell. And this is, again, another username one. So I would do this for myself. And then it's a number of seconds it's going to act, and it's going to give them infinite magic for that long. Now, infinite magic is not a huge deal, because, I mean, it'll give them infinite flight for a little period, that period of time, that kind of stuff, if they have got the armor and other things designed to do that. But magic regenerates pretty fast already. And if they have the armor that does it, or the items that do it, this is not a huge deal. It could be definite help against some boss battles and some other things, because they would be able to use like infinite rods every generation, just keep doing it over and over again, it wouldn't expend their magic. But it's not a huge deal, but it's not something you want them to have permanently happen either. So, one of those things. It's just like, it'd be nice. So I'm just going to give it to myself for like 10 seconds. I don't think it'll make any... Okay, yeah, so it does a little thing at the top. You can see my magic bar is blue, and it's just going to stay infinite as long as it's here. So, in about 10 seconds, that'll go away. The next one... Yep, see, there it's gone. Okay. So the next one is just like it. It's another mode, but this one's another punishment mode. And in some ways, this is much worse than death. It freezes them in place for the amount of time that you specify. So it's like a jail anywhere. So we'll just say freeze the punk who stole my junk. Again, got interesting commands. My biggest complaint is that I want these to be tiny little things that I could implement as an admin really fast on somebody doing something stupid. So, freeze the punk who stole my junk, LawFromChaos, myself, and I'm only going to give it for 5 seconds. And it actually does a little freezing animation, and you can see I cannot move. I'm trying. And then it's gone. And it even tells me, you've been frozen in place for 5 seconds by a command. So it tells me I'm being punished, essentially, which is good. That's what you want. You want them to know that they're being punished and why. And so you could use that to summon them to somewhere and freeze them and just say, you're going to be stuck in place for an hour. That'd be 3,600. Or, anything like that. Those are all the commands that I was able to find. I went through everything. I may have missed some because not all of them are... like the set max health command looks nothing like all the other commands that are part of DartCraft. I'm pretty sure it is one of DartCraft's, but I'm not absolutely certain because it doesn't have a weird thing like you just wanted honey, but so on and so on. Most of his commands are just kind of like, okay. But those are all the commands. Thank you for joining me, and I will be moving on to the player-oriented side after this, so we'll be doing a full series. I'll be starting my next one just running along, starting from the very beginning. We're just making the force rods and the trees and going from there. Alright, thank you for seeing me, and I'll see you guys later.